Let's fight. Let's fight. A very good evening to each and every one of you. And let's fight. How are y'all doing, folks? We're happy that you guys are here with us. Good to have you all. Calbino, leading the pack, leading the pack. Debbie Collins, Evelina Whitaker. I met another Evelina today. I guess all the Evelinas are nice. I guess all the Evelinas are nice people. Folks, share the live as we come on. Smash that emoji button as well. You know, some of you thought we probably wasn't having a show. Hate to disappoint you. We hate to disappoint you guys. We hope that your day was tremendous, not just great. We hope your day was awesome. Keyboard Hope, Maxine Still, do let us know. Anita Atkins, if you're hearing us good. Joan Robertson is here as well. And all those other folks who are joining us. Great to have you folks here with us. Pace and power, boots on the ground. Leon Logan, good to see you folks. Good to have you here. Andrew Lore, good to see you there, Andrew, and all the other folks who are joining us. And Cheryl Haywood, good to have you here, Cheryl. And Mario Bella, good to see you there as well. And Jamal Aziz, well, if you know Jamal is there, you know they got other people too. And they say loud and clear, thank you, technician Andrew Griffith. Good to see you. Good to have you on the live, Andrew, and all the other good folks who are joining us this evening. We're fired up, fired up, and we are ready to go. We are, if y'all are ready, we ready. If y'all good, we good, folks, and we're not gonna hold y'all back at all. You know, if you watch our program, you know where we go next, folks. We got the opener, and it's former senior assistant commissioner, well, former senior policeman, assistant, former assistant commissioner of police, Paul Slow. He says it's worrisome when senior policemen are detained in the US of A. He said it's very, very worrisome. Not for everybody. It's not for everybody, because Jagdeo said the police can tell y'all why they were held. The police can tell y'all why they were detained. Paul Slow says it's a cause, it should be a cause of concern. I'm telling you what the former senior policeman said. The detention should be a cause of concern. That's what he said. Yep. Take a look, good folks, and take a listen. The one and only, Paul Slow.
The recent detention of head of the Major Crimes Unit in Guyana, Superintendent Michael Seizure, by the United States Immigration Department is a talking point. According to reports, Seizure was detained and questioned after he opted to stop in the United States en route to Guyana. Retired Assistant Commissioner Paul Slow said that some people in Guyana should be concerned. He referred to an article that appeared in 2018 in a social media post.
Jason DeFlormont, killed allegedly by Bacchus, charged with manslaughter. He was charged with manslaughter. And then they're saying here, on the 6th of October, this report is saying, a senior member of the Guyana Police Force allegedly helped Sobrianville Georgetown hotel owner Irving Bacchus to cover his tracks after he allegedly pumped 3 bullets into his neighbor, killing him on the spot. This damning allegation comes just 2 months after 30-year-old Jason DeFormont was murdered inside the businessman's lot 260 Fifth Avenue, Sobrianville property.
The accused was previously charged with manslaughter. The charge was upgraded to murder.
According to the information received, on the morning of August 4th last, when DeFormont was killed, the businessman reportedly had someone erase the footage that was recorded on his Sobrianville camera. In addition to this, there are reports that when the technicians from the Guyana Police Force examined the businessman's camera on the digital video recorded in the DVR, the device that stored the data from the CCTV camera, the two were not compatible. And the quoting associate saying, this means that the DVR was swapped after the shooting.
There is the allegation that a senior member of the force was inside the hotel with a woman. This senior official reportedly guided the businessman with tampering with the evidence.
After the shooting, the same policeman called another policeman, and the two of them start the investigation right away And that's how the man gets charged with manslaughter in the first place, the source said. He revealed that those two policemen were transferred from the Criminal Investigation Department at least 2 months prior, and one was demoted to uniform after they were suspected to have tampered with evidence in another case.
The shooter recently died while in remand. It was reported that Caesar was removed from the Criminal Investigation Department soon after the shooting. They later returned after the PPP returned to office.
When Mr. Leslie James was Commissioner of Police, Caesar and others were removed from the CID during the Leslie James. They were returned to CID after the government returned, after the PPPC government returned to power on August the 2nd, 2020. Branham, the now crime chief, he was removed. He was returned. Caesar was removed from the CID. He was returned. Nigel Stevens was removed. He too was returned.
In the wake of Caesar's detention, Vice President Jagdeo said that the investigation into detention should rest with the hierarchy of the police.
I am sure, right, that he and others are very, very worried, as they well should be, because Caesar, in his position, as the Americans will say, know where the bodies are buried. He know another story. And they cannot feel comfortable that Caesar was questioned by the feds for a lengthy period of time. As the Guyanese will say, the body must be biting. Because they don't know what he told them. And the fact, let me say this too, the fact that he was released from custody and made to continue traveling within the US, meaning a takeaway visa, that is even more cause of concern. The man know a lot of story about senior police officers. You know a lot of story about senior government functionaries.
Yeah, it's a cause of concern. It's a cause of must be biting. It must be biting. Honey Paul, just look, put it like this, you know. It must be biting. Who no. It must be biting. Folks, how are you guys doing? Let's bring you all in with some of what we're following around the world, and then we can touch regionally. Y'all know the whole show. Some of y'all got to take this seat, you know. 1 and 2 nights, y'all give me a break, the man. John Jones, come in the chair. 1 and 2 nights, the man. Kyle Baino, come up. The chat. Come in the chair 1 and 2 times, the man. please and thank you. Yeah, it must be biting. So what we're following around the world, folks. Some what we're following around the world, they're telling us they're going to be an eclipse, total eclipse in some place. Y'all ever saw the movie? Old movie with, what's his name again? Not an African-American actor. What's his name again? He went to jail a little bit. Total eclipse. But some people are going to say a total eclipse. And some of us, this part of the hemisphere, we're going to see a partial eclipse. I don't know, like I feel like I want to see a total eclipse. Don't give me a little bit. I want the whole thing. They said, folks, if you live in North America on April 8th, 4 days from now, you could be experiencing a total eclipse passing over New Mexico, the United States, and Canada. That's if you're up north. How many of you up north? Brenda Bailey, you up north? Dolly Anderson? If you're in Mexico, the United States, Canada, total eclipse. But if you live in the Caribbean, right, this is going to be visible. You're going to have a partial eclipse. That's what they're telling us. If you live in places like Anguilla, beautiful places like Anguilla, Antigua and Barbuda, lovely, beautiful. If you're living in Aruba, Belize, Bermuda, the British Virgin Islands, the Caribbean, Netherlands, Cayman Islands, Cuba, Curacao, Dominican Republic, Guadeloupe, Haiti, Jamaica, Montserrat, Puerto Rico, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Martins, St. Bart's, the Bahamas, Turks and Caicos. Beautiful place. If you live in one of those places. Or U.S. Virgin Islands. I gotta go there. I don't know why it's taking me so long to go to the U.S. Virgin Islands. You're going to see the partial eclipse in those places. They tell us This is what happens, the total solar eclipse. What happens when the moon passes between the sun and the earth, completely blocking out the sun's face. You have that eclipse, and of course, if you're living north, you can see a lot of it. How many of you can see the whole thing? Huh? When my grand says Ghana is more beautiful, the true words have not been spoken. When my grand, true words have not been spoken. Hold on. Ollie, let's watch this one. Russ Ricardo. Naomi, you better watch this one. Good night, Naomi. It's only some of us gonna be wrong for the next one. Not all of us, Jagabats and trench crappos. Right? They're telling us the next solar eclipse might be till 2044. Yep. How old are you gonna be in 2044? How old are you gonna be in 2044? Yeah? How old are you gonna be? Yep, 2044. You better catch this one. Politics, Leslie Thompson, Bella Mona. You might get some partial eclipse. Sandra Hanover and others. Some partial, but saying total eclipse. You better catch this one. If you can catch it. Oh Lord, they hit. Fighting the AC. Fighting the AC around these parts. Pam Hall, Ingrid Dalian, all the other folks joining us tonight. It's such a privilege to see all of you. So sad I gotta look down to see the names. All of you. 2044 is the next one, folks. Yep. So you better catch it now. Look what else we're following. They're telling us that a South African footballer and Olympian was killed in what they're considering to be a carjacking. You ain't safe no place, you know. You ain't safe no place. This is Luke Fleurs. I hope I call it right. You know, in Johannesburg today, the South African footballer and Olympian was tragically killed in what the police in South Africa, they're calling it a carjacking incident. He was shot, they tell us, at a petrol station in South Africa, in a place called Honeydew, the suburbs of Honeydew. Now our thoughts and our prayers with his friends, his family, and his loved ones. They tell us that he was a member of South Africa's national under-23 team and represented South Africa at the Tokyo Olympics. Yeah, a young man gone too soon. Our thoughts and prayers go out to him, to his family, his friends, and his loved ones. Our thoughts and prayers with them. Yeah, it's just the way the world turns, folks. Just the way the world turns. And look what's happening around the Caribbean. I need to adjust my mic, folks. Excuse me. Look some of what is happening around the Caribbean. Mike played it, tell you know. Look some of what's happening around the Caribbean, folks. Oh, it's so much. It's so much. There are some jagabats in the region as well, you know. That's why I want you all know. This is very interesting news. Reparations. When you start talking with reparations, interesting. Who can share the life with you tonight? Africa and the Caribbean, they say, is uniting on reparations, or are uniting. Let me subject of a verb agree once in a while. Are uniting on reparations. Now this is very, very interesting. This is very, very interesting. They said that support among African and Caribbean nations is growing for reparations. Well, it's about time. And for an international tribunal on atrocities from the transatlantic trade of enslaved people. Yeah, and it's about time, as I said. They said that a U.S. Supported UN panel is at the heart of these efforts, and that this came out of the UN Permanent Forum on People of African Descent. They recommended this creation of this special tribunal back last June, and that advocates, we learn, are working to build an even wider backing for the idea among UN members. Yeah, it's about time. We didn't come here for betterment. We didn't come here of our own volition. We were brought. For those who don't understand the history, we were brought. Please and thank you. So you're watching this fantastic idea, and they're telling us that a special UN tribunal would help to establish the legal norms for complex international and historical reparations claim. It can only go up. It can only go up. Let's see what Guyana does. Because, a lot of people just run out at some opportune times and claim to speak for Afro-Guyanese and the children of former enslaved peoples. And then that, soon as they run out, they come and tell you, oh yes, you all came for betterment. You all came for betterment because the history little mix up. So we're watching it, folks. We're watching it. This international tribunal on atrocities dating back to the transatlantic trade of enslaved people. We're watching it. We thought you ought to know as well. But y'all know. Y'all know once we come in for landing, what's going to happen here. Y'all know as soon as we touch down, what's going to go down. With the 592, folks. Good to see so many of you on the light tonight. Candid Lead Energy joining us from the quarantine. There's Albert, Jenny Collins, Johnny Anderson, Mark is here as well. The Light One, Serena Blue, Dana Miller, Desri Albert, and so many others. Thanks for joining us this evening, folks. Pace and power. Tell me when you can take this seat here. Give me a little break 1 and 2 times. Y'all think it's easy doing 2 shows per day, chasing down the content? Y'all think it is? But I want you to know it's not easy. Is it high time? Some of y'all move from just watchers and come and help. Naomi, when you take the seat here. Naomi, take the seat of victim, man. Joylyn Cook, there's Sri Albert, Jolly Heaven Faith, and that's the word deed. Frank McPherson. Please and thank you. Give the eyes some rest 1 and 2 times. Serena Brew, Lester Williams, Marvin Garraway. Gotta bring some of y'all in, man. Come on now. Once we in the 592, it's trouble with a capital trouble. Trouble with it. A capital trouble. What will make guys to go? 0 points. 0 points. You know, the vice president run out today. He thinks bad at GPL. What do you think is good? Where are things bad? Things bad at GPL. I've been in there, says guys, so we talking about too. Things bad. Karen Fresco, Fidel Innes, Ras Ricardo. How are you doing, Ras Ricardo? Heaven Faith, Kyle Bino, Candidate in the Jeep. 0 points for Gaisuko. Things are nice at Gaisuko. And I'm ready CEO to become a what? High Commissioner to the UN or something like that. The EU rather. I know it's a U somewhere there. The EU, he ran away. You make a mess, he ran away. We gotta come in next year and clean up, folks. But we gotta do what we gotta do. We gotta do what we gotta do, folks. Gaisuko. They're out here selling dreams of Gaisuko. Saying that they hope for 100 tons of sugar next year. But look, story. And that's if the dry weather prevails. If the dry weather prevails, I tell you, your boy run out and he said things bad. Things bad. They're trying to produce 100,000 tons of sugar by year end. And they said this is despite the weather. Despite the weather. Right? They did 40,000 tons. According to them, and this is after many revision of these targets, 40,000 tons in 2022, 60,000 tons in 2023. Yep, and they said this low output has led to workers not receiving their usual payments. They got a lot of money. They did get a lot of money. Right? So April ran down there quite recently, and he said if we get the production up, money gonna flow. Right? But money only flowing in one direction. Only flowing in one direction. But we're watching it. They're out here selling dreams, folks. And look, while happening, my God, narco, the return. The return of the narco state. Them boys come back. That's why I want you all know. They come back. And you see every time a little one pass, when you read the Art of War, when you read the 23 strategies of war, you learn about misdirection. They said a little one here, and then 100 pass over the side. Well, the U.S., folks, the U.S. authorities, the DA, seized some cocaine today. My God. And you know, I'm not so worried about the cocaine seizure. Because the fact that the U.S. had a Navy cruiser in our waters. What we talk about that? Did you know that Royston Walters, Joyce Carter, Jean Noble, Susan McDonald, did you know that? That them boys were in the waters, Donna Miller, Fennel Innes? Huh? That's what they said. That is what they said. A whole Navy cruiser. How they're just watching Jagdeo, fitting them up, sizing them up. Who is small? Who is a size 2? Getting some orange clothing set, jumpsuits and all. The USDA was involved here in this cocaine seizure. Right? They said they seized a self-propelled, semi-submersible carrying how much? It was a lot, folks. 2,370 kg. That's a lot of coke. What are you telling me? That's a lot of coke. 2,370 kg. There's plenty coke in a self-propelled submersible. You don't have money to build them things, to buy them things. Up PSS, self-propelled, semi-submersible. I know some of y'all say, well, that's me vehicle. I ain't there when it rains in the city here. I got a self-propelled, semi-submersible when these streets flooded. You know? But somebody sent there on out there 3,370 kg. But that wasn't done for me, you know, in this narco state. That wasn't done. The done for me is what the U.S. said about the people who they apprehended. That was the my age was Captain there, Lester Williams, Abigail Natasha Kingston, Rosetta Barton, John Walcott, Marcy Agard. Huh? Heaven faith is no small man in that. Heaven faith, flesh and blood, and reveal it to you. 2,370 kg. How much pounds is that? Huh? I think the conversion is 2 point something kg to a pound. How much pounds of coke is that? Vernon? Joylin? Huh? You're doing over the maths. How much pounds of cocaine is that? That's a lot of cocaine. Right? The U.S. said that they guided their missile cruiser to interdict this submersible, arresting 4 people and seizing the cocaine. Right? Marcus is exact. Marcus said it's 2.2 pounds per kg. Right? That's 4,000 plus pounds of coke we're talking about there. 4,000 plus pounds of coke. Thank you, folks, for maxing me up quick. But this was done for me. Remember, the folks are saying that this bus was made in Guyana waters about 150 miles out. That's still in the exclusive economic zone. We got a lot of land, a lot of waters too, where this cruiser intercepted this semi-submersible. But what was interesting to me, Edward Brooms, Anton Nichols. Anton says over 6,000 pounds of coke. Joyce Carter, Leon Blair, Abira. What was of interest? What was of interest to me personally was the fact that the Americans said they ain't coming to the magistrates court day. They will be prosecuted in the U.S. Leon Blair, what does that say to you, Marilyn? Marilyn said there's a lot of money. When the U.S. sees people in your territorial waters involved in illicit and illegal activities, and they said they're not going to come to your courts here, we carry them topside. We carry them topside. How long was this U.S. Navy cruiser out there just watching? Huh? Watching. They're not bringing them. What does that say to you, Joyce Carter? About the justice system, Bantu King? Bantu, what does that say to you? What is it? We ain't carrying them here, Bayam. the Georgetown Magistrates Court. Romiliando, top side. That is where they're going to be tried. We're watching it, folks. And that's just some what we're following. You know, kudos to all involved. You know, 4,000-6,000 pounds of coke off the street. Could only be done to benefit. And this is law-abiding citizens. Could only be done to the benefit of law-abiding citizens. Yep. Let me call it KG. I see we're a little conflicted with the poundage. Right? 2,370 kg of coke. That's a lot of coke. And wasn't last weekend, them boys intercept another 1,000 pounds off of one of them shores in Region 3. Yep. Narco state, folks. Narco state. And that being said, some boys get hold with 9,000 grams of ganja. Two of them, they said, try to bribe policemen. They try to bribe. They said wasn't having it. I tell you, we got some good cops in the law. Isn't everybody rotten? Right? Isn't everybody rotten? We got some good cops in the mix. They might say, they had 9,000 grams of cannabis, marijuana. This is for export. This guy. I can understand. And them boys, this country got a lot of problems. Is I Sacramento is I mine. I can see people making that kind of thing. And when Jagdeo said things bad at GPL. The Sacramento must go and shift the right chance the ball drive. And boys under pressure. Pressure man water go uphill. A pressure bus pipe. Them boys under serious pressure. So who knows if this was a shipment bound for shipping the right chance the ball drive? He's the pressure. You know? He's the pressure, of course. You can't do the time though. Don't do the crime. If you can't do the time, good folks, don't do the crime. They said this, 9,000 grams of marijuana was discovered in a car in Amelia's ward in Linden. Marlon's by you said, girl. Marlon Thomas. Yep, they said in custody is Keenan Fraser, a taxi driver, and one Nissel Charles, a pork knocker, and another fellow named Sion Eston. They're among the persons who were in custody. Folks, share the live, smash that emoji button. Good folks. Fraser and Charles, they said they were apprehended as they exited a car carrying 2 plastic bags containing the suspected cannabis. It was weighed at the Mackenzie police station and weighed 9,979 grams. Right? Eston, hold on. According to report, Eston was the one who offered police ranks $453,000 cash to release the 2 men. Yep, that was the bribe. $453,000. That's the offer. I said, We stand for integrity and professionalism. Right? And things might be a little tight, but we got a little dignity. You see, we got a little values and so on. And we believe in the work that we're doing here. So they resisted that $453,000. It'll be a nice time for a lot of people. They resisted that, folks. Congrats. I tell you, isn't everybody rotten? Isn't everybody a Caesar, Branham, Higgins? But not everybody rotten. Everybody rotten. Yeah. That's what we're following, folks. So look us now. Are we at the age yet? Look story now. Look story. We beg. Folks, you gotta admit it, you know. Naomi says small money. Naomi bank like that, you know. Naomi bank like that. Folks, you gotta know when you're big. And I like me, we go out to style just like that. You gotta acknowledge when you're big. Right? But we're looking good. You know, we got the turtle flesh clear on Logan. Rice and Walters. We're big and we're looking good. You know, when we show up, we show. When we step out, we step out. Yeah, I must check Naomi Facebook page. Naomi, something to write home about. Quite like Margaret Nelson. Some things to write home about. Aubrey Stevens. Eva Matis. Yeah, I must check the Facebook page, you see. We big, but we're looking good. And we got sense. Joylyn Cook, Leon Logan, we got sense, Sheenas. Surhari Sukjan, we big, we got we age. We looking good, we take too much at night, Joe. We jump through a couple hotel windows every time from the second floor. Right? You either had a full package or you was a full package. Yeah. But you give your heart to the Lord, now you're living victoriously. Yeah. We see a couple hotel windows every time. Right? You fall through or you jump through, you land on your foot and tuck and roll. The AG said the importation of labor is not new. I was never trafficked. So I don't know. He says nothing new. This importation of labor for the Bangladeshis and the Cubans is nothing new. That's what you all might say, you know. My mother would say, keep that away from me, eh? It's nothing new, he says, and argues that the issue of skill shortage is not new and that Guyana's migratory drain and large diaspora per capita will impact the country's ability to supply adequate labor. So they've got to go in this direction. But we know what it is. You see that same migration drain he talked about there? It's their voters draining out. Now this country is so nice. If this country is so sweet, why are people running away from them? Denise, Joylyn, Marcia, Sheila Boychild. If everything nice and sweet, why are people running away from them? Producing this migratory drain. That's why I tell you, we big. But we got sense. We looking good, we smelling good, and we got sense. We have sense. We cut with nail and so on, put on with little thing, with little dan, so on and so on and so on. And we coming to come. We aging gracefully surrendering the things of you. We beg Nandalal. We know what's going down here. It's numbers they're making up. We big. Fire report, folks. Fire report. Canal House. Canal number 1, I think it is. Raised. Oh, my Lord. They got it there, you don't get fire. Huh? They got it there, you don't get a fire. Good folks, friend. They got it there, we don't get a fire. Fires of the PPP. The pensioner in this process was displaced at this place in Canal. That's what they say. This place in Canal, in the West Bank, fire broke out. And 65-year-old, so Jagdeo Kamabaj occupied with 34-year-old Tukumar Singh went up in flames. The fellas are now homeless. And of course, they're telling us Jagdeo is a pensioner. Right? The neighbor said that she saw from a window when the fire started and alerted the fellas. The Ghana Fire Service says that they're still investigating, what caused this fire that has now displaced this pensioner, Jagdeo Kamabaj, and Chikamar Singh, a 35-year-old, well, 65 and 35, respectively. Yep. Our thoughts and prayers with them. Fires! Oh my God. Fire. You know, when I finished the program last night, I've been chasing a fire in Mecca. Fire. Folks, they got a fire at the back of it. We got in there. Saw the blaze. Couldn't go too close. Fires. Every day, like you would not believe. Fires. Left, right, and center. Wildfires raging on. And as that was happening, Vice President were allowed to say, you know, we should invest in climate change adaptation. Anyway, we could make money. Money you have to make. While you drowning in sorrows, while your heart is breaking, destruction of the company, why you all know people making money? Wildfire, Santa Mission residents being evacuated, Santa Arata residents being dislocated. Money on the Vice President mind for climate change adaptation. Yeah. Then come and say, oh, we can use this to do this for indigenous brothers and sisters, and a little bit to do that for indigenous brothers and sisters. But largely, listen to me. Friends, family, and favorites. Amid this unprecedented number of wildfires, they said over 1,300 wildfires between January and March and April now that we're in. And they're telling us as well, Jagdeo and Co., that over 2 billion earned from the sale of forest carbons, you hear I say, I can tell you set for it, will be spent on adaptation, in addition to sums given to indigenous communities. It's only 15%, they said, they're given to indigenous communities. Right? And then the other 185%, friends, family, and favorites. That's how it's going to go down, folks. Friends, family, and favorites. But we're watching this. As I said, residents from Santa Mission have been displaced, evacuated. They're now at the Tamari Primary School. Santa Arata complaining about fires that are affecting them as well. So we're watching it, folks, and you can see in the coming days, we can try to pick up more and more of our coverage on these fires. We don't think we've been covering them nearly enough. Them jagabats, our attentions have been on them. Our attention has been on them. The transcript posts, the tadpoles, the Jebusites, the Narco-sub, the Hittites, the Philistines, and the Pharisees. We've been on them. Watching them. Yeah. That one's for you, Candy. The chicken and the horse, Candy. Take both if you want. The chicken and the... We know the whole thing. Not some. The whole story. Whole story. Ali says, we're not naive. We've been watching the Venezuelans. I don't know, watching from the submersible. Watching from where? He said, we've been watching. You know, a lot of people feel we have not taken this Venezuelan challenge and threat to our territorial sovereignty very seriously. A lot of persons are of that disposition and posture. Arfan Ali and crew, they have not been serious about this threat that is Maduro. And if you've been following, folks, you would have seen that they would have passed what they're calling an organic law. An organic law. But Jagdeo himself says this is an annexation, if not physically, of Venezuela. Well, Mr. Norton had some thoughts on this today at the PNCR's press conference. Leader of the PNCR, leader of the opposition, Mr. Aubrey Norton, had some thoughts on it. Take a listen, folks. Take a look.
Venezuela aggression is of deep concern. The parliamentary opposition views with deep concern and alarm the action taken by the government of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela to promulgate, I quote, the organic law for the defense of Guyana Essequibo, unquote, in total violation of international law. The parliamentary opposition is constrained to note that this illegal act has come at a time when the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela continues to take belligerent action against the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, including the fraudulent referendum of December 3rd, 2020, the buildup of troops along the border, and other provocative acts. These measures will neither contribute to the peaceful relations between the two countries nor the overall peace of the region. A zone of peace can hardly survive in these circumstances. The Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela will therefore be responsible for the further decline in relations between the two states and any breach of the peaceful development of the region. Accordingly, the parliamentary opposition not only rejects this organic law, but condemns it as a flagrant violation of international law, the Geneva Agreement, and the letter and spirit of the recent joint declaration of Argyle, which calls for dialogue and peace, agreed to on December 14th, 2023. Also, the organic law is a clear violation of the recent decision of the ICJ, which enjoined that pending a final decision in the case, the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela shall refrain from taking any action which will modify the situation which currently prevails in the territory of dispute. The parliamentary opposition further notes that the government and people of Guyana have not engaged in any aggressive action against the government and people of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, but rather has sought to solve the territorial controversy through peaceful and legal means, including the resort to the International Court of Justice, which is now considered a final decision in this matter. The parliamentary opposition finally urges the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela to act responsibly and not further inflame the geopolitical fault lines of the region and thereby threaten its further peaceful development. Venezuela.
Yeah. Is he not naive? Irfan said he's not naive. You know, what Mr. Norton said there is what we should be in Parliament, putting down in the annals of the history of this country. But Parliament meets so infrequently. We're in a bad way, you know. It's not only GPL, it's not only Gaisuko, in the National Assembly as well, folks. We are in a bad way. A very bad way. Irfan said we're not naive. Hold on. He asking or we telling? Irfan, is he asking us or he's telling us he's not naive? Because I think some of y'all get the answer to this question. Is he asking we or telling we? Huh? Christopher Chichester? Christopher got an answer there. And while we run Parliament, folks, I would have you know there is a new book out by former Speaker of the National Assembly, former Minister of Natural Resources, former leader of the Alliance for Change, Raphael Trackman, on Parliament. It tells you how Parliament should really be working, and talks about some of the seminal moments in the National Assembly of recent vintage. We got to pick up our reading, you know. I always tell y'all that. We got to pick up our reading, and this text is available at Austin's Bookstore on Church Street, and also the New Era Bookstore on Robb Street. It's worth the read, folks. I've been going through it. It is worth the read, and it's good to have a physical book back in my hand. I love my ebooks, but it's good to have a physical book back in my hand. And you know what? He signed it for me too. Available, folks. Austin's books, a Parliamentary Republic of Ghana. This is when Parliament was somewhere. This is when Parliament was somewhere. Congratulations to the former Speaker of the National Assembly, former Minister Raphael Trackman. I'm going to send a copy for Irfan them because they know what they're supposed to be doing. They know. And here is your boy, BJ. He knew everything. Everything. I feel, when I listen to them talk about Venezuela, I feel like they already concede. It's only for to give over the title deed now. Wicked. Take a look, take a listen.
Many of you have read their statement out of the Foreign Ministry. Their strong statement relating to the defense of our sovereignty and territorial integrity, given the action taken by President Maduro to promulgate this organic law, which purports to establish a state called Essequibo in the legislation of Venezuela.
Yep. Apologies there, folks. Apologies there. It's bad. It's bad.
Many of you have read the statement out of the foreign ministry. The strong statement relating to the defense of our sovereignty and territorial integrity, given the action taken by President Maduro to promulgate this organic law, which purports to establish a state called Essequibo in the legislation of Venezuela. Now, clearly, this is a form of annexation by decree, by law, although it's not physical annexation, and it runs contrary to the Argyle Agreement and to what the process that we're engaged in now before the ICJ. In fact, it runs counter to the provisional measures given by the World Court that prohibits any change of the status quo in relation to the 1899 award. And so Venezuela is seeking to unilaterally change this. We have already notified all of our partners. We've brought this to their attention. The bad faith negotiations of Venezuela. And so they are aware of what's happening. Many of them are expressing concern and also outrage about this approach, the untrustworthy nature of the regime there. And we are not going to let our guards down. So I hope that the country recognizes this. Many.
Yeah. You know what? You know what, folks? Maduro finds some Pacos. Oh God, and he busts in the back plenty times. Whoop. He finds some Pacos. He busts in the back. A lot of folks, like you guys said to Irfan, brother Irfan, big hip, Auntie Irfan, do not go to Argyle. Do not go to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. He didn't listen. He didn't hear. He wasn't hearing. And now this. Oh, he back a bus up here now. What was Argyle for? All of me we fly out. Meeting in Brazil. What was all of it for? The man doing what he got to do. What was all of it for? Huh? What was all of it for? Oh, it's a wordy one, huh? It's a wordy one, huh? They're telling us, young boy, he's receiving the Caribbean Global Leader Award. Caribbean and Global in the same sentence. I don't know. Right? Some of you say, who? What award? I never hear about somebody things in my life before. Never. Where does this come from now? Who invented this yesterday? Caribbean Global Award. And some of the information we got on this is quite it's quite interesting. Where's the award come from? Even African got another one yet. I never heard of that word before. Right? He said they said he won this award by an exemplary amount of votes for exemplary leadership. Right? 609 votes. Who are these people? When was this award being voted on? 609. Who were the people selected to cast these ballots? Caribbean Global Award announced it's a people's choice winner, right? But they like these things, you know. This is what they live for. You go on somewhere, they put a mala on you, they show away you, and they feel nice. They've done so much, invented their own awards, giving themselves all kinds of big fancy titles, but doing nothing. Sound and fury, but symbolizing nothing. Sound and fury, 609 9 votes, he said. Look, good aside there, man. Doing the most. Doing the most. They call it secret city. I mean, Silica City. Secret City, Silica City. The same thing. You ever saw a layout for Silica City? Huh? You ever heard a press conference in Silica City? You ever heard the Air Finale, the pet project, speak about Silica City in any great length, any great detail? Huh? They're starting now building the first 100 homes at Silica City. What is of interest to us? They're about to construct the first 100 young professional homes at Silica City. What's of concern to us? Right? Now, you're going to know who live in the city. A 2-flat unit is 25,200,000. Right? It's only some we can live in the city here. And using we broadly. Then it's 25,200,000 per 2-flat. Right? A two flat, I think, elevated unit, 34 million. Who live in who live in a secret city? Right? And as GT Starby wants to know, who got the contract? 25 million? In this hard guava season, who got to save up? You can work your whole life, you even get in pension. 34 million? Like some of y'all got eye blacks and I didn't know. They said it's going to be the first urban smart, or the first smart urban center. And they could throw a phone in the classroom, a mango pelt in the classroom. They say it's a smart classroom. So when they start bantering about these terms loosely, smart urban center, whoever could buy the house there, well, I wish you all the best. I wish you all the best. If you can afford your house there in the what they call it, a smart urban center, I happy for you. I happy for y'all. It's the rest of we. You see black out in Silica City. When you buy a house with 34 million, 35 million, you better bring them a generator. You better rock and come in. But a generator, well, Alpai said bad. He said bad. Our father, 4 years in, he said bad. He said really bad. Things back for so. A GPL. Yep. Take a listen.
So one statement, expanded generation capacity, and they had multi-year planning at GPL. Now the situation is bad. There's no sugarcoating this. That we have a situation at GPL that we've explained 100 times before. But often explanations don't suit people when the light goes off because it disrupts their lifestyle. It disrupts their normal activities. It causes untold hardships for them. Sometimes their equipment, they get destroyed. So I understand the feeling there because we live in this society, and when the light goes off 4 or 5 times at home for me too, I have a generator, but it creates sometimes problems there too. But I can imagine, for me, it's disruptive. For me, it's disruptive. We pick up the phone immediately and call, what's going on again? Every day, this is something. So we are not going to say that people are not justified in the harsh comments they make, because we feel it ourselves, because we live here and we're consumers. It's not that the government is aloof from these concerns. So sometimes explanations don't help at that moment.
Yep, everything bad, everything gone down. And I like how he tried to seem like he's one of you. Right? I got the same problem. You know, when the current goes off 4 or 5 times, right? I home with an automatic generator, I got the same problem too. Then y'all get hours in blackout. Me, my generator, we got the same. We got the same problem. Changing Henry. Oh, they're so down to earth. Right? Me, my automatic switch generator, I got the same problem. My light is come off too, but then it's come on back almost immediately. We got the same problem, man. 4 years in this afternoon. I have a generator, automatic switch, big, fancy generator. His generator got its own cooling room. Huge monstrosity. His generator has his own house. I got the same problem. I'm not sugarcoating. I'm not sugarcoating. We in a bad way. I got the same problem. You know, me have a flambeau and Sue in the living room. We got the same issue. Out of touch. Bastards. Out of touch. For the closer folks, camera say everything gone to the dogs. Everything. Everything gone to the dogs. It's bad. It's terrible. It gone to the dogs.
Leader of the Alliance to Change, Cameron Ramchitan, has said that the administration of every institution under the current PPP government has gone to the dogs.
There is absolutely no hesitation that any right-thinking member should make in connection to that. And what worsens the situation is the fact that they were left with so much monies to ensure that they do it right this time around.
The money was said to be into billions of US dollars.
So when you get in blackouts like this, it is obviously that they did not plan. It is obvious that they did not cater for the time period. There's more demand that is required. There are lots more people that want the electricity and all of that. And they prepare themselves by buying the necessary equipment that is going to take us there.
The proper team to govern the power company was removed. He said that the government chased away the people in place who had managed to make blackouts a thing of the past.
And it is a torrent. It's like a tsunami. And Barbicians especially, I know how you feel about it because you are worse treated with the blackouts.
Georgetown and its environs haven't been spared, but Berbice has been very hard hit. Regional Councillor Derek Jagdeo spoke about what was being done in Berbice to change the situation.
This last statutory monthly meeting in the RDC boardroom, I asked for the GPL representative to come and face us in the boardroom. Come into the boardroom at the RDC level and tell us what's going on. Also, October last year, myself and Councillor Moore had a big issue with the RDC chairman, David Armogan, and he loved to give a little lollipop or a pacifier and put you in a corner.
He recalled the installation of new generating equipment during the tenure of the coalition.
There's too much issues with this GPL. Too much. Rotten posts in front of my house. You know what times I call them? Right? They're waiting until that post to fall down. There's a broken light in the back of my house with that street. They put a new street, no lights. You know, it's 1 foot forward and 3 foot backwards. That's what GPL is.
The accusation of insulting friends, family, and favorites continue to be made. The FC noted that GPL is now managed by the brother of the Attorney General.
Yep, and that's going to do it for us, folks. Thanks for joining us this evening. There are multitudes of you. That's the closer. Everything gone to the dogs. Gone to the dogs. Gone to the dogs. Gone to the dogs. That's what we say. Yep, that's the last bell. Thanks for joining us, LaFern Joseph, Jamal Aziz, the light one, Lynette Fraser, Patterson Williams Learning. Thanks for joining us at the institution. Onessa Wardin, Heaven Fit, Joyce Carter, Chinsing Henry, Onessa Wardin. Thanks for joining us this evening. And just reminding you that there's that new book out from the former Speaker of the National Assembly, former Minister of Natural Resources under the AFC government. Parliament in the Republic of Guyana, how it really should be. It's available at Austin's Bookstore in Church Street and New Era Bookstore in Robb Street as well, folks. That's where it's available. That's where it's at. And again, thanks. Thank you so much for joining us. That's going to do it from us at this end. Debbie Collins, Asher and Patricia Wren, Cheeseman, Shellon, Haleyman, Mark, and Enid Niggins, and all the other books. Thousands of you that joined us this evening. Over 3,500 of you joined us live. We're so privileged, folks. Peace, and power. Stay well. Stay well.